All right, good morning, everybody, and it's so great to see you all back in the building, back where I feel the most comfortable doing the principal's coffee in this room, which we've taken over from Global Scholars. But welcome back, and thank you very much for being here, like I said, at the back to school night. Really, Byram Hills does such a great job of having parents involved. Being here at the principal's coffee shows your students that you're engaged, even if you can't make it, but you just watch it, or you tell them that you received the video. That in and of itself sends a message to them that you really care and that you're a partner with them. So I start off every year with sort of trying to focus where these principal coffee sessions will go. It gives us sort of a direction, and I start out with the mission every year. So for me, the most important part of it for how we engage with each other in Principal's Coffee is that first part, that environment and mutual respect. That to me means that we're coming here, that we all are buying into the idea that we want what's best for our kids at the end of the day, to hopefully make them become productive and responsible citizens and leaders of the 21st century. So this year, it's a little bit of excitement for me because our Board of Education looked at the mission statement, and then back in the spring, they added that two little words, and leaders. So for us, that really changes how we approach our work with all of our kids. And it'll change how we engage with all of our community members as well. So when we put that and leaders in there, it's no longer something that we hope that kids develop leadership skills. It really becomes incumbent upon us to help them develop all of those skills, where at least they understand how they can grow themselves as a leader. And we talk about the capital L leader. That's somebody who's in an actual position of leadership. The lowercase L leadership, that's students who just understand themselves. What we're seeing is really a strong connection between SEL growth and leadership growth. And we want to make sure that what we're doing in the building gives our kids a chance to sort of develop as leaders as they go through here. So just some ground rules for Principal's Coffee as we start the year. We don't talk specifically about any specific teacher. If it's a situation that's sensitive to you, I always stay after. If you want to bring that up to me, you can discuss it then. But again, we always need to make sure that we're doing everything in a respectful environment. And we always have, and I just want to make sure that we set off the year that way. So I do want to thank all of our Board of Ed members who are constantly so supportive and who make it to these Principal Coffees. I do want to thank all of you who participate in the PTSA and also in the BHEF as well. Like I said, that connection between different organizations in our community, that is really what sets us apart. On Saturday, I had the chance to give a tour to members from the class of 1971. And they were the first class to go through from start to finish with every grade level. So they actually started here. They were in this building as 8th graders because the first year we didn't have any seniors in the building. So they brought them up and then they went through. And to me, just hearing the connection that they still had to Byram Hills and hearing about where they were there, almost 59 years ago, as it started, that connection is so important. What I heard them talking about were the relationships that they built, the relationships that they built with teachers, with their friends, and just how their parents were involved. And what they spoke about was that Byram Hills really, it doesn't really exist anywhere else except as a school community, right? Other towns they're the town and then they built a school. Byram Hills was built specifically to educate kids. And there's something really special when you do that at that intentional level. So Byram Hills, that community, we are here to educate. And I don't think that many places do it as well as we do because everybody is buying into that. And we take that so seriously for all of our kids. All right, so thank you for letting me get up on the soapbox to start off. We're going to kick off. I want to introduce some new faculty members that we have who you may deal with throughout the year. I just wanted to let you see their faces and let them introduce themselves. But I'm going to start off by letting Lauren and Ben introduce themselves. And they are the two new assistant principals, been working so hard over the summer and have done a really great job to get us to the point where we are up and running. And when I think about like my time as an assistant principal, I really loved that time because I was able to have sort of a hand on everything. I knew the students, I knew the teachers. You were really working in the trenches. So the assistant principals, I tell everybody, if I'm not here for a day, nobody even bats an eye. But if the assistant principals aren't here, the wheels start to fall off. So in terms of the organization and the management of the building and the operational functioning, they are the people that sort of keep the wheels spinning. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves now.
So I'll go first.
Yeah.
So I'm Lauren Albert. I know I got the chance to meet a lot of you, and I've gotten the chance to meet a lot of students. And so far, the students have been so lovely and wonderful. The energy in the building, all of them coming back into the building, has been amazing. I think kind of moving past COVID, everybody's really excited. We have Club Fair coming up tomorrow. The amount of new club applications I've gotten, the amount of students that want to get involved, it's really awesome to see. So thank you everybody for coming in. I started teaching in Mamaroneck High School. I taught history and economics, and then after that I was a social studies supervisor at a district on Long Island where I evaluated social studies teachers and I helped them develop new curriculums and new programs. I feel really grateful to be here because of what Chris just mentioned. I get the chance to meet all of our students, work with our teachers on a much more like granular level. Some of my responsibilities are what's up there on the board, clubs and activities. All testing goes through me, driver's ed, the student leadership board, and I'm also the assistant principal for 10th and 12th grade, but because of all these responsibilities, I hope to get to interact with everybody in the building. If I could ever help you with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's nice to meet everybody that I haven't met already, so thank you.
Yep, and I'll just bounce off that to say that I'm Ben August. I've had many opportunities to introduce myself to lots of different people, and maybe you've seen me before, or maybe this is the first time. But I'll just echo Lauren's overall umbrella message of there's a lot of gratitude. I'm so happy to be here and to be working closely with the students and the faculty and to be able to make connections with all of you as well. It's really wonderful that there are so many opportunities to make connections with parents, the wider community, and everybody at all levels of the building. One example is that last night our guidance team had a really wonderful sort of welcome event for freshman parents, and to see lots of people showing up and supporting their students making that transition to high school made me feel like it's just so incredible to be joining this community where everybody is fully on board with the mission of educating the students and really aligned with our vision of what that can look like. So I'll just say thank you so much for being here today, and I really look forward to every opportunity to connect with you now and throughout the time that your students are here with us. Thank you very much.
All right, so this is how you can contact them if you need to email or just call through the main line. But I'll let you two get back to keeping the wheels on this bus. All right, and thanks for being here and stopping by. Coming out of the pandemic and dealing with all of the things that we're trying to clean up in many ways, we know that our kids are coming to us at different levels of how this impacted them. Last year, we were able to implement our student mental health wellness team, and I brought those members here today because we have 2 new members, and then Allison started mid-year, so I did want to let them introduce themselves. So Allison Moyer is our social worker, and she was here starting in January, but got up to speed really quickly. We have Marisa Cuomo, who's our school psychologist. She will be working with students that have counseling on their plans. And then we have Alyssa Cohen, who is going to be in our flexible support program. So I'll let them introduce themselves real quick, and then I'll let them get back to work.
Okay, good morning. I'm Allison Way. I'm the school social worker. I joined the Byram Hills community last January. I joined Byram Hills from the New York City Public Schools. I was in the New York City Public Schools for 17 years. And I primarily worked with students who never liked school. So it's really exciting to be in a space where students are really excited about learning and engaged in learning. And so I work with students around anything and everything under the sun that might be getting in the way of them being successful in school. So if there's stuff going on outside of school, my office is a safe space for them to come to talk about that stuff. If there's stuff going on inside of school, social stuff, confusion about how to access a Google Classroom, anxiety about how to speak to a teacher about something, my office is a space to come to talk through that stuff. Everything we talk about is confidential, and I talk to the students about that. There's rules around that. If students are talking about something like they're hurting themselves, someone's hurting them, they're thinking of hurting someone else, or if they give me permission, then I can share out what we're talking about. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I'm very connected to like how we feel inside and how that impacts our feelings and how we can get in touch with like mind-body connection and helping young people recognize mindfulness. And like we have a lot of these tools, we just have to nurture them and bring them out. And you can find me, I'm in the first office down the 100 hallway in 116B.
I'm Marisa Cuomo. I'm one of the school psychologists here. I worked in Rye High School for the last 7 years, and before that, I was actually a very small district outside of the gates of West Point for about 5 years. But I've always done the same thing. I provide counseling to students who have an IEP, and sometimes just students who happen to walk in my door. They're always welcome. I also am a chairperson for all of the CSEs. So I do that, and also some of the 504s. So if students have questions about their plan, I can answer any of those questions. And of course, if parents have questions, I can also answer those questions. I also am happy to be part of the emotional wellness team. I think that we get to look at things through a different lens. We're thinking about the school community and their mental health and how we can provide information to the school. I also have 3 children of my own.
And I'm Melissa Cohen. I am the other school psychologist. I'm working primarily with our FSP students. So the Flexible Support Program is a program that we house here at Byram Hills that is really kind of a smaller community over the larger community, just to help students who might be struggling with some more social, emotional, and academic needs. I'm coming from kind of a similar district in Connecticut, but I'm really excited to be part of this community. So also just this is a wonderful turnout. Like this is amazing, and to be part of the
Now, we do have one more member who's not here, and we are in the process of identifying our student assistance counselor. Our student assistance counselor will work through Student Assistance of Westchester. It's an outside organization. They have even higher levels of confidentiality, and they deal with students who specifically have the probability or the possibility of having substance abuse issues, or if they are in the home. So that's an outside organization. We had an interview yesterday, and we hope that within the next week or so that person will be with us 2 days a week. And when that does happen, we will share that information. They will have a nice flyer with all of those people on there, and we'll share that with the community as well. All right, well, welcome and thank you for being here. I know you have a lot of work to get back to, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was an interesting year. We did have a number of, higher number than we normally do, of new faculty and staff members. And I posted all of them up there for you. These slides, as well as the discussion point, will be sent out through Media Center. So if you have any questions. But we had a number of different retirements last year. We also had some people that just shifted, and then we had some increased needs, which leads to all of these new faculty and staff. Our security guard, Anthony, who we all loved, he was able to get another job. We have Tom Shoup. You'll see him there in the morning. And we're still working with our security provider to come up with a permanent security guard. But Tom has been doing a wonderful job so far. All right, so we will be going over some of those things that were on the announcement later on, but I did want to just let you know about our master schedule. For those of you who are new to the building, just to let you know about our office hours. It does kick off at 7:45 and it goes till 8:10. We have questions about whether you have to be here for office hours. No, you don't. If you want to sleep in, you can sleep in and get dropped off. That's fine. We do have teachers who will schedule office hours with students, and then we'll have some teachers who just allow students to come in and be proactive with going to office hours. So that is at 7:45 to 8:10. And we look at that as a building level intervention for some of our students as well. So if we have students who are not doing well in a certain class, we will require that as an intervention. So some of our kids may be required to come in for office hours. And if that is the case, teachers will be reaching out to you to let you know that that's needed. Again, we are going to keep with our 64-minute class periods. We're meeting 5 periods per day, 4 minutes passing time. The Master Scheduling Steering Committee got together last year, and really the only major overhaul that they wanted to make was to move period 5 out of day 2 and put it to day 1, and then once period 3 was moved over here, flip 3 and 4. And the reason that they recommended that was because students who had period 5, there were too many times in the cycle where they would either see period 5 too often, or like on long weekends like we're coming up to, there was a chance that they wouldn't see that class for almost a week. So now there's no class in the schedule that has more than 2 days when they don't meet. And so that was the only major change that we made. The Master Scheduling Steering Committee is going to continue to meet this year, and the thing that they are looking at the most are whether we can uncouple our lab from our science lecture. So the idea that a science lab wouldn't have to meet in 1 and 2, where it might be able to meet the lecture here and then the lab at another day, so that it wouldn't be overwhelming, especially for our younger students. Now, as a former science teacher, I can tell you that in the old schedule, our science, we used to have 90 minutes with a lecture and a lab. And even on some of those cases, I said I could use another half hour. So our science teachers do a really good job when they are doing labs of keeping the kids busy throughout that entire time. But it is something that they wanted to explore, and we're looking at that this year. In terms of our lunches, we do have the universal lunch. Again, it's still early in the year. Kids are just finding their balance, their comfort zones. We know that the paninis are always going to be popular. We know that the cafeteria right now is going to be busier than it normally is, but we need to give it another few weeks, and then it'll settle down and everything finds a nice comfort and balance. You heard it today that the upper gym, we are no longer going to be eating there. We are able to pull back off of the upper gym and the lecture hall because we no longer have those COVID guidelines that we need to abide by. So we are limiting sort of the number of areas where the kids can eat, but again, there's still plenty of space. We have everybody in the building eating at the same time, and as you heard, the patio is lovely to eat out there. Again, we're going to be partnering with IDE Corps, which is an organization that helps us develop our ability to engage our students through the longer class times. All right, you can see there, this is sort of the dance we did. All right, just a quick reminder that our second back to school night will be held tomorrow, and that's for N through Z. Again, if you were not able to make it and you're A through M, you can definitely come tomorrow. If you have, more than one child and you want to see the other set of teachers so that there's nobody getting upset at home, you can come as well. So the best thing to do if you are coming in is give that schedule that is sent out. I have it up there. Well, give the schedule for the back to school night. Just give that to your child and they'll be able to fill it out in a minute or two, where you might take about 10 or 15 minutes going back and forth between eSchool data. So just give it to them and they'll write it down for you. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, the other thing is when you are here, go to phys ed instead in place of the science lab. You want to make sure that you're going down to the lab. Thank you. All right, and then anybody who comes in and you just don't know what your child's schedule is, we'll have them available in the cafeteria. All right, so our AM, PM drop-off, we are doing much better this year. I'm happy to report. We have not been going out onto 22 as of yet, and I know I really appreciate all the parents sort of keeping that in mind. We have seen an increase in the number of students who are taking the bus. We have seen a number of, a lot less parents coming in right at like 1:45 to 2. They're coming in later, which keeps it flowing. We've also taken down, those of you who have been in the parking lot, we've taken down the middle island over the course of the summer, which actually gives us a little bit more room and a little bit more flexibility with being able to get in and out. So again, we know that there's one way in and one way out, and what you can do to help us keep that flow, that would be great. If you are stuck in the line there, take the opportunity to look at the PTSA-funded electronic sign. We are going to get that up and rolling. Right now, there's an issue with the processor that we had to send back out to get that updated. But that will have information about events that are upcoming, community involvement, spirit type of club activity events that are going to be posted, general information, and it's going to be much more interactive than the old 1966 sign up at the top. So you heard it mentioned, we have a Pediatric Cancer Awareness Day that is coming up this Saturday. And the Youth Against Cancer and Great Activity Boards and the PTSA, as well as the athletic department and the football team, have all worked together to try to develop this day. And we're trying to have a gold out on the field and everybody in a gold shirt. So students can purchase those shirts during lunch throughout the week. Any shirts that are left over, we will sell them at the game. And then we'll also have grade level baskets that people can purchase a ticket. And when they purchase that ticket, they have a chance to take home one of those baskets because we don't have raffles here. But you're buying that commemorative ticket. And then if you win, you can see all of those different baskets have a theme connected in one way or another to people who have been impacted by pediatric cancer. The proceeds are going to go to the Children's Cancer Foundation, Sloan Kettering, and then the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. And again, this is just a nice community event, getting everybody together to support something that is really important. All right, our Spirit Week is going to kick off. It's a little bit odd this year in that we have Columbus Day that Monday, and then our Spirit Week starts right after that. But again, just as in the last few years, thank you to the Board of Ed and to our Superintendent, Dr. Lamia, for working with the athletic department so that we could bring lights onto the turf for that entire week. And so those games that are going to be on the turf for those field teams will be at 7 p.m. We'll have other events going on for all of the other teams that, like cross country or tennis or volleyball, those things that are not actually on the field, there will still be featured games for them as well. And we'll get that whole calendar out. The traveling pep rally will return this year, where we're going to be going down to the younger schools to help them sort of experience what it's like to participate in one of these homecoming weeks. Pep rally will once again be on the field, and for those of you who live on Perry Court and Blair, we do apologize. We're going to get loud out there. That'll be Friday around 1 o'clock. We had our first time ever out there last year, and it's one of those things that, you know, because of COVID, we did something different, and we found out that it's much better. And we looked around and like, why did we ever do that in the gym? It's so loud. You leave there with like a headache and everything. Out on the field, like the kids are just happier. They're outside. So we're going to continue to do that. The Galeno Bobcat Run, which is always connected to our Spirit Week in one way or another, that's actually happening on the Saturday before, and that's at 9 a.m. Just looking back as the start of our year, just to give you a general sort of sense of where we are. So I think that the energy of the building this year when we opened up it was much different than we've seen in the last few years. There was almost like a relief that you saw in the building. And that really, you could feel that from the teachers to the students, parents even, and, and that was really good to see that we were starting that way. Now we know, going back to last year, that the executive functioning issues that we saw because of the sort of starting and stopping, those are still present for some of our students. And last year as a faculty, we did a deep dive in supporting executive functioning. And we thank the BHEF who helped us with that by bringing in a consultant to work with our ninth graders as well. So a lot of those things that we saw last year, we're seeing them this year, but not at the level that we did in the past. So what we're seeing is, yeah, students are coming in. If we look at our current ninth grade students, I have one at home, so I know. We had those kids at the end of their sixth grade year, they went away from school. Then in the seventh grade year, they were hybrid. And then the last year, they were sort of getting back up to speed. Now, just as they were getting back up to speed, we said, you're going to go to a whole new school. You're going to the high school. And you've been hearing about the high school for years and how it's really high stakes and how it really now counts. So we have those kids coming in, and they're still trying to get themselves settled, but there are going to be a little bit of growing pains as they come in. We see it now with our 10th grade class, right? Some of those executive functioning issues, we still see them, and we're still trying to get them into a groove. The 11th graders, I feel, are starting to settle in, and then our seniors are okay. I think they're getting it. They're in a place where I don't see any significant differences between their class and then the classes, the senior classes that we would normally see pre-pandemic. So we know that all of our kids are coming in and they're at different levels, and it's going to take academic support, it'll take social emotional support, and it'll take sort of advisement from parents as well. So things that I want parents to look out for are whether your kids are meaningfully engaged in doing their homework and their work. If you're seeing that they're not handing in stuff or that they are tentative to start projects, that's probably a sign that they're probably a little bit uncomfortable with how to go about it, and there might be an executive functioning issue there that we can help you work through. So overall, I know that we're in a much better place than we were. We still see a little bit of the excitement, maybe a little bit more of the physicality, a little bit more of the, like I said, I love Kim Lappel and Angelo Ancona because middle school is the great filter. The boys get the stuff out of their, the physicality off of their plates. We see a lot of the social media stuff that gets filtered out by the time they get to us. And because of the middle school experience they had, some of that is now coming up to the high school, and we're seeing that. It was very apparent last year. This year, we're already seeing a little bit of it, but we have to work with them and do some of those things that we don't normally see in the high school. We're helping our kids understand how that is not something that can help them here as well. So overall, academically, I feel like you're going to start to hear your kids coming home, and it's important for you not to stress when they tell you they have an upcoming assessment. It's important for you to tell them that they've done all the things that they can, that you support them, you're going to be proud of them, that you know that this is just one step in their growth, that there's no one test ever that will dictate the outcome of their life or how successful they are, and just be there supportive and put as much back onto them as you can. And try to even role play with them and model conversations that they might have to have with their teachers that might be uncomfortable for them. We still do see that there are some kids that we think all it will take is just, oh, hey, how you doing? Could you help me with this? And they're like, nope, I'm off, I'm out, I can't do it. So just being able to break that threshold and say to an adult, oh, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with this. Can you help me with this? Right? Those are things that are skills that you can help them develop with. All right. So that's sort of where we are right now. I know that things are going to be ramping up. They're going to start getting grades back. And it's important for all of us to take a deep breath when that happens and let them know that it is a marathon and it's not a sprint. That being said, looking at sort of where we are, we know the seniors are going to start applying to schools. And so there's a lot of stress and anxiety around that. We know that juniors have heard this message that this junior year is really important. We know that sophomores are sort of looking ahead. So we are still going to partner with Challenge Success this year, which is the organization that has sort of helped us look from the balcony view at what we do here and the overall student experience. So we're looking at academic engagement, we're looking at sleep, workload, we're looking at parent expectations, teacher care, academic integrity, and extracurricular involvement. And we want to make sure that what we're doing sort of promotes all of those things in really positive ways. If we go back to our schedule, that really came about because of the work that we started with Challenge Success. The schedule that we did have, the drop schedule, which was 8 periods on one day and then 7 on the other days, our kids really reported that they were just doing school with that schedule. They were really good at doing school, but they really wasn't that buy-in or that engagement that we would like to see in our schools. This schedule that we have now, that promotes more of our values, and it connects to sort of what we believe in much more than the old schedule. So our work with Challenge Success now is going to continue to look at those ways that we can help to improve the overall student experience. And I say it every year. If you are hearing this on video or you're here in the audience, thank you if you are already involved in Challenge Success in our group. If you would like to become involved, please just send me an email and I will get you the information. Our first meeting is going to be this Friday. So again, looking at all of those things, and now what we do is we put on top of that the leadership element. And for me, it's really exciting to look at about how we can implement leadership development skills to help our students' overall experience here. All right, so I know that was very long-winded, but sort of a snapshot of where we are in this place and time in September, what is it? One day before the equinox. So, thank you very much for coming. Go Bobcats!